Hello everyone, and welcome back to Solasta Crown of the Magister. Last time we looked over the rule settings that were available in-game to see how close this experience might be to the tabletop 5th edition experience, and now we're going to look at some characters and first of all see what races are available. So if we go to a new character, you'll see the first thing that we're presented with is actually what they're calling Ancestry, and we have only a few options here rather than the full gambit of races and ancestries from the player's handbook. So starting in the top left, we have dwarves. Dwarfs have 5 units of movement. If you imagine each unit to be 5 feet, the hill dwarf, or all dwarfs rather, in tabletop 5th edition have 25 feet of movement, so that's 5 units as opposed to a human that has 30 feet of movement or 6 units. They have +2 constitution, and they also have saving throws against being poisoned and resistant to poison damage, and they have their dwarven combat training with proficiency in battle axes, hand axes and warhammers. Then we have the 2 options of dwarf. First of all, the hill dwarf, which is in the player's handbook. You get +1 wisdom, +1 hit point per level, and you get the normal dark vision, as well as the languages common and dwarvish. The other option that you have for dwarves is the snow dwarf. So the first 4 or 5 things that you get are as standard, then you get +1 to your dexterity, proficiency with the heavy crossbow, dark vision, common and dwarvish languages, and +2 to constitution saving throws. So that is the new dwarf that they have introduced into the game. Half-elves are all the same in that they get the same selection of choices, but of course with their 6 movement units, charisma +2 and 2 other scores increasing by 1 point each. You can put those into whatever points you want so long as they're not charisma. And then they get to choose 2 skills to be proficient in. They also have dark vision and fey ancestry, saving throws against advantage to be charmed and immunity to magical sleep. And they also know common, elvish and 1 other language. The only human available is the standard human. There is no option currently available for the variant human that gets to take a feat. Humans, as mentioned, have 6 units of movement. They get a +1 to all of their ability scores, and they learn common and 1 other language. As for elves, all elves get the +2 dexterity modifier bonus. Their fey ancestry, so saving throws against charm and immunity to magical sleep, just like half-elves. Dark vision for dim light and darkness. Keen senses, proficiency in the perception skill, and they only need to trance in order to take a long rest, so it's 4 hours of meditation rather than 8 hours of sleep. Now, for the variants in Ancestry for elves, there is the High Elf. This one you might recognize from the player's handbook. The movement, again, 6 units. Intelligence +1 for an ability score increase. Proficiency with longswords, short bows and longbows. A single wizard cantrip that uses intelligence as the spellcasting ability. And common, elvish and 1 other language of your choice. Then their homebrew elf in this version is the Sylvan Elf. So the dexterity and trance and so forth is the same, of course, but their movement is 7 units rather than 6, so kind of similar to the Wood Elf. Their wisdom is +1. They have the same weapon proficiencies. They are also proficient in survival and athletics and have advantage on survival checks when hunting. And they are multilingual. They speak common, elvish, dwarvish and halfling. Then lastly, we have 2 halflings, neither of which appear in the player's handbook, but both of which here have a movement of 5, or the standard halfling 25 feet. Dexterity +2. They are brave, so they have advantage on saving throws against being frightened, and they are lucky, so anytime they roll a 1 on an attack roll, ability check or a saving throw, they can re-roll that and use the new roll. They also have halfling nimbleness, where you can move through a space of any creature that is a size larger than you. Then the 2 different variants of halfling that are introduced in this game are the Marsh Halfling, Constitution +1, languages of common and halfling, and what is simply defined as swamp Areas with marshes and ponds and humid atmosphere are considered swamp terrain. I'm not sure how that will benefit them later on, but I'm sure it will come up in some mechanical way or another. And they too have dark vision. Then lastly, in Ancestries, we have the Island Halfling. So after the regular stuff that they get for just being a halfling, they also get a +1 to their charisma. They know Common, Halfling, and 1 other language of their choice, and they have advantage on dexterity acrobatics checks. So that is all of the Ancestries that are available to us to play in Solasta. And I will leave this video there, and then next time we will have a quick look at the different classes that are available to us in order that we can play. 6 are currently available, and Sorcerer will be coming in a future update after full release. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments down below. I will endeavour to answer all of them, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.